Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. We are so excited to welcome Coach Dana Wilson from Hair Cares Inc. Y'all are going to be blessed by this conversation. So Coach Dana specializes in supporting people who are suffering from hair loss and scalp disorders, and also Sisterlocks consultants who desire to hone their skills and serve others. And so she also offers virtual trichology sessions, and she also offers mentoring for Sisterlocks consultants. And we are going to learn all about it. So grab your beverage of choice and let's get started. So welcome, Coach Dana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, first of all, for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes and responding. And so we are here just to learn from you, to share your wisdom, your expertise, and really support the women that are viewing this and that are on our channel. We had a dermatologist on recently, and she was just talking about how hair loss right now is at epidemic levels, particularly for Black women in the US. And so your work and what you're doing is essential, right, to helping our communities and to helping all women that are dealing with hair loss. And so that's why we're so excited to have you here. And one of the things that we love to do is always, we want to hear, like, what's your hair story, right? So tell us a little bit about your hair story, and then we are going to just go straight into our sort of mini masterclass on the things that you have to share with us around the 10 keys to hair growth. So tell us a little bit about your story.
So thank you so much for having me. I feel blessed and honored to be here to share my story and then actually just help my people, right? Because that's what it's all about, is helping our people. And so I've been in the hair care industry for over 25 years. Started off as a Sisterlock consultant, and I had a beautiful, beautiful clientele. Right. They became sister friends and all that good stuff. Right. But over the years, I've seen how some of my clients were losing their hair. And I didn't have real answers for them, right? Other than making sure that they came back in for their regular retightenings and maintenance, recommending a product to them. But I outside of that, I was kind of lost. They would go to the dermatologist and get that special shampoo or injections, and I would see that their hair would grow back temporarily, right? And then something would happen and it triggered the hair loss again. So I didn't have any solutions, but I was trying my best with the knowledge that I had at the time. But then something happened to me and I started losing my hair. Right. And that kind of changed the game in a different way. Right. And I didn't understand because obviously I was taking care of my hair, regular shampooing, moisturizing, all the things that I thought was healthy for my hair. So I didn't know what it was all about. And I actually had a friend of mine who was also a consultant, and she had went to trichology school. And I didn't know what trichology was. And she had to explain to me. And she said, Dana, you need to go get a physical. I said, a physical? Now, what that got to do with anything, you know? And you need to go, is something going on inside your body. And your hair is the barometer to your body. That just didn't add up for me. But I believed what she said. She was going to school. And so I did, only to find out I had all kind of I had fibroids.
Oh, wow.
Vitamin deficient. I'm eating the wrong stuff. I'm totally stressed out. Because as a Sisterlock consultant, I was on active duty military when I first got started.
Okay.
I have a special needs son who's on the autism spectrum with other medical issues. So I was stressed out. And so I learned that all of those things were contributing factors for me losing my hair. And it wasn't the kind of hair loss like locks falling all over in the shower or whatever. It was just a loss of density at that particular time.
Okay.
Okay. And so once I found out all about that and I went back to my trichology friend, she created basically a hair wellness plan for me, internally and externally.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Right. And so I said, listen, I got to know more about this because I'm a nosy girl, right? like I want to know the what, when's, how's, all that. So I end up going to trichology school myself. I got my degree in tricho hair health and then a certification as well. And so now I had the answers to be able to service my clients in a real way. So not only was I impacted personally by the hair loss, my business was well, at the time I felt like my business would be impacted too, because how am I servicing the people and my hair is falling out?
Right.
And then now I need to learn for myself and learn for my clients. And so I came back with real answers. And the real aha was the fact that you had to look within.
Yes.
It wasn't just about what was happening externally. It was what happened internally. And that was the huge aha for me. I'm like, oh, everybody got to know about this.
Right.
Everybody has to know about this. And that is what I do right now as a trichologist, is more about awareness, information sharing, so that people know, okay, it may not be, because for some reason clients will say, I've been going to her, she did this to my hair. Right? And that's not necessarily true. I'm not saying that the stylist cannot be a contributing factor.
Right.
Practices. In most cases, it is the internal things. And then if you have external things happening too, you really got the perfect storm.
Right.
You have the perfect storm.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did. I went to trichology school. I came out and started servicing my clients and started seeing results. And obviously, I am my own walking advertisement, because I would not have hair on my head. Okay. I'm almost certain of that if I hadn't disrupt the patterns that was happening with me. True.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my passion obviously initially started with servicing my clients and making sure that they was doing preventative things and then helping them grow their hair back. But then it turned into a passion around supporting the hair care professional. Right. I had clients who would come to me and say, hey, I've been going to her this long. I'm losing my hair, thinking it was the practitioner or professional. And I wondered why the consultant or whoever, the hair care professional, would not tell the client that they were losing their hair. Right. And what I found when speaking to some of folks was that they didn't want the client to think that they did something wrong.
Right.
So they would see the clients on a regular basis, see something. They didn't have the words to articulate what they were seeing, but they did not tell the client, hey, lady, something is going on. You're losing your hair. You're losing your density.
Right.
They did not want the clients to think it was their fault.
Right.
So you're talking about months and months and years gone by without sharing. And that really that touched me. I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that these folks are informed so they know, hey, you the first line of defense.
Right.
You need to let the client know, because this could be a medical issue.
Right.
This is a medical issue.
Right.
Vanity and blame and shame and all that. Let's help the people, because maybe this might be a huge factor of saving somebody's life.
100%. And I love that you say that. You say that because for me, that was actually it was my stylist who actually told me. She was like, you need to go see someone. I had been dealing with this for years. I hadn't even gone to a stylist for a long time. I was doing braids and wigs and all these things. And when I started going back to someone and I had an episode, she was the person who said, it's time, you need to go see someone. Okay. And so her name is Brittany, and God bless Brittany, because she was the one that helped me. And it also, that's so important. But what I love also what you said is, or your approach is, when these things are happening, it's a matter of us. The hair is almost like data, like it's giving us information. And so it's less about judgment on the stylist or even the product or whatever. It's more about what is our hair telling us?
Yes, that's right.
It's giving us information. And so then we need to take the next right step. So it's not about blaming as much as this is telling us we need to take a next step to get some help. So thank you for that reminder of that approach. Because it is when when we're going through something, you want to find somebody to hold responsible. And sometimes that somebody is us, but that's a whole other story. So,
don't get me fired up.
Look, if we're honest with ourselves. Okay.
Don't get me fired up.
Okay. So let's also talk a little bit about, we don't really talk about this a lot in general when it comes to the hair loss, but navigating the emotional side. Like, how did you emotionally walk through that experience?
Yeah. Obviously, this is not fun, right? You are faced with your beauty, right? And as a professional, I would also felt a kind of way because I'm servicing people and I'm losing my hair. Like, what is that? Right. So it obviously you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, how did I get here? Right. And you're in panic mode. I got to do something. And so what happens is you start putting all kind of lotions and potions. I mean, you just spend all kind of money throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this, hoping that the product is real, right? Because the product say it's gonna grow your hair back. Okay. So you throwing all kind of stuff on this hair, spending all kind of money because you're in panic mode. Right. What I also know that you shy away from social interactions. Yes. Right? Because you worry about if the wind gonna blow and that camouflage that you didn't put up is gonna be revealed, right? It does so much to your esteem. And so for me, of course, I felt the shame, but then I said, okay, I have to learn. Yes. What can I do? Once I was armed with the information, then I got busy. Right. I'm in action. Like, I'm not going to be defeated by, I wanted my hair. I wasn't ready to be shaving hair off because that's what people think they need to do. And that's really contrary, I'm gonna have to say, because people think, okay, I'm gonna shave my hair off and start over. Whatever is going on in your body that has allowed for you to lose your hair is still going on in your body. So you can shave it off and you want to, but you're still gonna have to deal with that. It's gonna show up. It's just true. So I wasn't at that time what I thought ready to shave my hair off. And I wasn't the girl for the wigs, right? So I needed to get in action. Period. And that's what I did. I got action. The what wins house, what do we need to do? Right. Exactly. But it is I don't know if I want to say painful, but it is something to face that you're losing your hair. And for women, we know this is a big deal. And more specifically for the African American community, your hair is your crown and glory, right? And so just like for myself, people are thinking of what can I do? And people are going to alternative things by just slapping a wig on there. So that's just heightening the situation and it's making it actually worse because the more time that goes by, the worse it gets. It don't just get better just because. You have to do something different to change the trajectory of what's happening. Right. Exactly. Thank you for sharing that because I think all of us have experienced that where it feels like it's overwhelming. Yeah, it is. And you get to a point too, I think one of the turning points I'll say for me was knowing that, and I said this in another video, like there was a point when my hair, like all of this was gone and I looked like George Jefferson kind of thing. Right. But there was a point when the turning point early on was initially it was about the hair, but it quickly transitioned to what is happening that is causing this. And so my
focus became on my health. You know what I mean? And so, and then I'm still navigating through it, right? There's some days where I feel like, oh, I wish I could do braids or whatever. But regardless, I think if nothing else, I think it's for the woman who is struggling, you are not alone, right?
Absolutely not.
You are not alone. And there is no shame.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't want to pick up shame and
Mm-hmm.
carry it with us, right? We want to, even though it's hard, even though it's hurtful sometimes, you're not alone. So I just wanted
Absolutely.
to share that. So
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's something you could do about it.
yes,
See, I think in the past, we just thought, okay, my mama lost her hair, I'm gonna lose mine. Like it's in the family line,
right,
right?
right, right,
And that's why we'll just put that wig on it and we don't do anything about it because we think we don't have any choices around this thing.
right,
But
right.
we do. We can change behavior, right? Because that's what it's going to take. We have to change behavior. We have to change our lifestyle
Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm,
see changes around our hair growth.
mm-hmm, absolutely. So that actually is a perfect segue because you
Yes.
have developed a content and an approach
Yes.
that includes about 10 sort
Mhm.
of keys that for women who are dealing with hair loss that we can implement
Yes.
that can help support regrowth and help support scalp health.
Mhm.
So to that end, do you want to jump in and start talking about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
we're going to make an adjustment here. So I will do that. And so you let me know if you want me to move the slides forward, if you want to move them forward. But you all, again, if you need to, this is your time to press pause, grab your drink, and then come right back because she is going to give us, again, the 10 keys to a holistic approach for our hair journey. So, Coach Dana, it's all yours.
Great, thank you. So let me first say that, like I said, my clientele had been losing their hair and they were going to the dermatologist. And one of the few things, treatments that they will always come back and share with me would be either they got steroids injected in the scalp, they got a special shampoo that they maybe needed to use, and they might been prescribed some kind of medication, right?
Mm-hmm,
Anti-inflammatory pill or something like that. But what I found is it only worked it was a temporary fix or a temporary solution to slow things down.
mm-hmm,
It wasn't a cure, right? It
mm-hmm,
was something very temporary. And I'm like, why is that? Right? Like, why is that? The other thing is people would go and get products that said it would have hair growth. And what I know, because one of the titles that I hold is a certified bio research assistant. And
Oh,
what that means is I can help people do ethical research studies on their products. So whatever claims that's being made about that product, you should have some data behind what you say your product does,
right,
right? And
right.
what I've learned is those labels are very deceiving, right? And
Mm-hmm,
so I said, well, what can I do outside of the products that I'm not sure if they even work,
mm-hmm,
outside of the shampoos and injections? How can I help myself? Because both of those two options, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, because
right,
I'm okay with integrating all these different approaches to help
right,
someone.
right, right,
And I experienced these approaches as well, right?
right, right.
But what can I do for myself that maybe won't cost me so much money? Right? Because
Yep,
that's what's happened. People are spending real money on all different kind of remedies.
yep.
And so I found over time, I came up with 10 keys to a holistic approach for promoting hair growth. And these are things that you can do for yourself on a daily basis. And this holistic approach is not just about hair, right?
Right, right.
This is about total body wellness. That's
Yes.
why I say holistic with a W and not just holistic. I'm talking about whole
Yes.
body wellness, because we know, and you'll find as we do all of these things, it's going to help our whole body. The hair is just indirectly impacted by these lifestyle changes. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to give you some context of where I'm going here. So here are the 10 keys, and I'm going to just share a little bit about each one of them. And I will start here with exfoliation, right? So typically we have a shampooing regimen that we do with our hair, but what we need to concentrate on is the scalp. The scalp is the breeding ground that actually creates the follicles, and then the hair come out of the follicles, right? And so just like we wash our face every day, right? But every now and then we do a facial because we want to do a deep clean, right?
Right.
So that's what a scalp exfoliation is. It is a deep clean to the scalp. And we need a healthy scalp so that we can breed the follicles.
Right.
So you would want to have an exfoliation regimen into your hair care practices.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Healthy scalp will breed good hair.
Right. So can I ask a question?
Yes.
So for exfoliation, there are some who use like scalp serums and oils, and then there are some people who don't use anything on their scalp outside of washing and conditioning. So if you are not someone who puts topical serums and oils and things on your scalp, is that exfoliation, is that something you still think you should be doing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying absolutely, because we secrete oil from our bodies every single day. Now, the makeup of the oil is based off what you putting in your body. Right. So one of the things that I found when I shared about my story losing my hair is I was eating all wrong, right? And eating all wrong produced a not so good oil that's secreting from my scalp. Okay. That oil became a crust, which showed up to the world and myself like dry scalp, like flakes. Here I got flakes on my shirt and all this stuff, right? I'm thinking that my scalp is dry. So, right, what I'm going to do, I'm putting oil on my scalp and put things on my scalp. But it was the opposite. It was that I was having an overproduction of oil, and the oil was not good. That oil became a crust, just like how Crisco.
Yes.
You on the stove is an oil, and then if you let it sit, it turns into a solid, right?
Yes.
That's the same thing that happens with the oil on our scalp. If it's not good oil, it will turn into a solid that shows up like a flake, and then you think you got dry scalp, you putting something on it, you're making it worse.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you don't put topicals and things on your scalp. We secrete an oil every day, and it may not be a good oil. So that exfoliation is doing a deep clean.
That's good.
Of the scalp. Okay.
That's
So
good.
that's the first key. And that's something you do yourself. Okay.
How? How?
Well, it's just kind of like a shampoo. It's a shampoo. You're putting it on the scalp, and then you sit in a little while. You might sit on the dry. Each exfoliation has its own directions, but you're sitting there and you shampoo it out. So, but you're focusing on the scalp, not
the hair.
The hair, right? It's like a facial for the scalp. I call it scalp facial sometimes.
And so when you see it, I've seen a trend. I don't know if it's a trend, but I'm seeing more stylists use these sort of scrapers.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Is that the same? Okay. So that's something you can do, whether a stylist or you can do it on your own as well.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some people do it with a toothbrush. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Okay.
So this is something you could do yourself that don't cost much money. This is just something, and you would want to do this. I mean, it could be 6 weeks, every 6 weeks or 8 weeks. It's not something you do every week or anything.
Very good.
Like that. Just as a preventative thing, right?
Very good.
You don't see that you're losing hair. You're just trying to prevent and have a good, clean environment for your scalp and so your hair can thrive.
That's good. This is the first time I'm hearing it at this level. So thank you. Okay.
The next one is elimination. Okay. So when a client coming to me and she having issues with the hair, I'm gonna ask her, how often are you pooping?
Right.
We're gonna get all.
Look, tell the truth. Tell the truth.
All in there. How often are you pooping? And data and research shows women, we have issues with eliminating.
Mm-hmm.
We hold things in, and we also hold that in too, right?
Yes.
We have
Yes.
particulars of where we're going to go when we do
Right.
it. If you're eating, when you eat, you should be eliminating,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? If it's sitting in your body, then it become toxic, and then toxins is being delivered all over your body inside
Right.
your body. So we need to make sure that we are eliminating on a regular basis. If
Right.
you eating, you should be pooping. It's just that simple.
Right.
If you're going days in between elimination, there's a real problem here. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
This is going to collectively set you up for not a good situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
elimination is key. The next one is nutrition. And listen, anything that's going on with you, when you go to that doctor, they're going to ask you, how's your diet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cliche. This is serious. This is for real, right?
Right.
What you
Right.
put in your body impacts your body, right? So if you're not eating no vegetables,
Yep.
we got a problem. It's just that
Right.
simple,
Right.
okay? So
Right.
you like, okay, what's going on my hair, but you don't eat no vegetables, you need to
Right.
be
Right.
taken care. It's just
Right. Because then you also are not eliminating.
right. This is like a spiral
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're wondering why things ain't working out.
Right. Right.
And here's
Right.
the thing, like me and others, I didn't connect. We think scalp is something different, like you compartmentalize certain things, right? It's
Right.
a holistic approach.
Right. 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 It's a whole ecosystem, right? Our bodies are.
Mm,
It's just a whole ecosystem. Okay. Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. And then of course hydration. Listen, we need to be drinking water.
Look. So look, you see, I got water, but then you also see I got my coffee. But
We need water.
yeah.
Pop is not gonna do it. Juice not gonna do it.
Right.
All those things is not gonna cut it. We need hydration. Your
Mm-hmm.
hair, just like you put hydration on the hair,
Mm-hmm.
need- you need to put hydration in your body so that it makes good soil
Yes.
to grow the hair.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
All of this is about good soil.
So
And
do you have a can I ask, do you have a recommendation? I've heard a couple of different sort of approaches to the amount of water, right? I've heard someone say 2 liters, which is about 64 ounces. I've heard someone say half your body weight.
yeah,
Do
so
you have a
it
recommendation?
would be half the body weight in ounces. That's what I
Okay.
would tell the people. And I know that the medical world changes this thing all the
Mm-hmm.
time. For me personally, I also add a little Celtic sea salt
See.
to my water so that I can absorb the water instead
Mm-hmm.
of drinking it and basically eliminating it out.
Mm-hmm.
That salt helps you absorb the water into your cells. And
Okay.
so, yes, I would tell my clients half the body weight in ounces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
sometimes we need supplementation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes we not eating what we supposed to eat, and we know that,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I would ask, or I would recommend taking some kind of supplementation to help you
Mm-hmm.
out in that area.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is oxygenation. Breathe and bringing oxygen into our bodies. Our body needs oxygen, and it needs good oxygen, right? That's why
Mm-hmm.
there's environmental issues that
Mm-hmm.
contribute to our whole body wellness, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're around a whole bunch of smoke, that's a
Yep.
problem, right? Because you're
Yes.
inhaling that smoke. So good oxygenation and it's simple things that you can do for yourself is actually taking deep breaths to
Mm-hmm.
bring that oxygen into our bodies in a real way.
Mm-hmm. And
All of
there are so many free apps. There's so many things. Like this is a good reminder to
yeah,
me as well of all the small little things we can do.
and that's what it is. It is small things, but you have to be intentional
Yeah.
and aware.
Right.
We can't compartmentalize all this stuff. We got to bring this thing together
Mm-hmm.
as a holistic living.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is small things. That's why this don't cost you much right here.
Right. Right.
Right? This is just being conscious that and aware that these things impact not my body and my hair.
Right. Right. Right.
The other thing is I put meditation and relaxation together. And we need to de-stress.
Yes.
Stress is taking us out of here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why we are now in the world acknowledging mental health in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you think that your mental health is not impacting your hair, you're dead wrong.
Right. Right. Right.
Dead wrong, right? Um, it makes me think about in my mother's generation, and I would say mindset, I won't even say generation. There's some people in the mindset, they don't want to know when they're sick, right?
Right. Yep.
Why
Yep.
don't they want to know what they're sick? Because guess what? When they find out they're sick, the mind go crazy and then they die fast. Just
Mm-hmm.
because you're just stressed out because you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes ignorance is bliss for some people, right? They don't want to know because the mind start going crazy about the this and the that and the that, right?
Right.
That lets you know how powerful your mind is and how impactful stress is. It impacts your physical body
Right.
because your
Right.
mind and then went crazy, right?
Right.
So if
Right.
you think the stress, and I share it with about my son, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
on the spectrum, he has medical issues.
Mm-hmm.
Have never contribute that as a contributing factor from me losing my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I was stressed
Yep.
out,
Yep.
stressed out. And that stress was a contributing factor of my losing my hair. So I had to learn practices to relax
Mm-hmm.
for my well-being,
Right.
let alone my hair.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? This is just an indirect impact.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to tell you too. First of all, your hair is gorgeous. And I wanted to say that earlier, but I saw there's two things. I saw a journal, a couple things. One was to your what you were saying about the meditation and the relaxation,
Yeah.
how the breathing. I've seen it in multiple places where just breathing can reduce your cortisol, which is going to
Yes.
reduce that hormone coursing through our bodies
Yes.
because it's activating our vagus nerve, right? So that practice of doing that against something else, there's no cost. But the one thing I read a study a while ago, and it was saying how our cells, hear me out, and this was in a scientific journal,
Mhm.
cells are listening to our thoughts. So even though what we're thinking,
Yes.
what
Yes.
we're thinking is impacting what's happening in our body.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Prime example. I I've done I forget the name. Okay. Oh my gosh, why I can't think of the name of this. Where you go and get in this pot of water. Oh, I can't remember.
And
Wow.
you float.
Float therapy. That's
Float.
it.
Okay, yeah, I saw. Okay.
Okay. So you go into this pot. It's like sensory deprivation,
Okay.
right? Because there's no light. You're closed in like a womb. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a pot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're in the body of water with salt water, so automatically you're floating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the so my experience in this pod is that because I had uh, no sound, no light or anything like that, depending on what I thought about,
Mm-hmm.
I could see my breathing change. My heart, when I would think about something not good, my heart was pounding. And because there's no other input, you can get really in tune with your body. My
Yes.
heart would be racing, my breathing would be heavy. But then when I thought about something beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
it calmed me down. So that is a clear example of how our thoughts impact our
Right.
body and our
Right.
cells in our body in a real way. So this is real. This is not no plaything about the
Right.
stress. We have to put practices in our lives that will de-stress ourselves.
Right. Right.
Why you think they want you to relax when you get your blood pressure done?
Right.
Okay. It's not a good thing to have a traumatic event and then go get some blood pressure checked.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
Because it
Right.
shows up, it becomes physical.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
physical,
Yeah.
right? So the next thing is detoxification. So every now and then we got to detox these organs, baby. We got to reset because we
Mm-hmm.
the wrong thing. We doing the wrong thing. We need to reset. And that's a simple, sometimes some people do tea detox. Some people take pills or just eating a certain kind of way to detox the body. We need to do that every now and then to reset our bodies. And then you have circulation. Listen, every follicle on our head has a blood source to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Where blood does not flow, hair will not grow. Period. Okay. That's when you know for someone that comes in, they may have scar tissue because there's no blood flow going there anymore.
Right.
Okay. So where blood does not flow, hair will not grow. So we need good circulation in our body. And that's simply something like working out.
Right.
The flow is going, the blood flow is going, right?
Right.
Circulation, a simple thing would be just to work out. You got to move the body. We can't just sit stationary, right? We have to move our body. And then the last one I have here as a key is stimulation, right? Simply stimulating the scalp by doing like massages and things of that nature, right? To keep the blood flow going in our bodies. So these are the 10 keys, okay? This is the holistic approach, meaning like you're not spending all that money.
Right.
This, right? This is something that you can consciously make a choice for yourself each day to make sure you're doing something in this area. Right. This is about your whole body. That's why it is holistic with the W. And obviously this will impact your overall health that will indirectly help your hair health.
Absolutely.
So those I over the years, as I research and learn new things, and it's not to take away from the conventional approach. And there's also regenerative approaches to hair growth. We can actually do all three simultaneously to even move the needle faster, right? But we can start somewhere. So if you don't have the money to go to the doctor, if you don't have the money to try these other things, you can start here, and that's daily lifestyle changes.
Right. And what I love about this too is this is the lens with which I see this is an abundance approach versus a scarcity approach, right? So a scarcity is I only have one option. Right. This is saying there are multiple things within this wheel itself, let alone maybe there is a medical component to it. Maybe there are some other things. And so we have the resources available. We just need to identify which are the right ones for me as an individual right now.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that I advocate for this approach in conjunction with those other things.
Right.
To make it even better.
Right.
And you can do this whether you have hair loss or not. This is preventative. This is for your whole body.
Right. That's good. That's good to know. It's a preventative tool. It's a maintenance tool. It's a,
Absolutely. Guess what? We have setbacks, right?
Yep.
Somebody can grow their hair back, right? And let you eliminate something on this wheel. Right. And you can have a setback.
Right.
So hopefully that has helped someone to see an option that they can do right now. So if you see you having hair loss issues or anything going on with your scalp, you could do this right now as obviously as a measure to kind of slow what's happening, and obviously as a preventative, because this is for your whole body.
Can you tell us a little bit about, and I say this with the caution that knowing that everybody's story is unique.
Yes.
Do you have any examples in terms of time frames with which, or even ranges with which maybe an individual or people might be able to think, okay, if I do this for 3 months, because I get that question a lot, but I also try to frame it in everybody's so unique.
Yeah.
But is there a time frame with which someone can think about, okay, I've done this, about how long would it take if I'm consistent? I think the key is also consistency, right?
I think you would need to do these lifestyle changes for at least 6 months. Okay. At least 6 months. You got to give your body a chance to, rebalance itself, right? based off the changes that you were made. So for example, I had fibroids, right? So this is not going to change overnight, right?
Right.
Fibroids they get larger based off the blood supply,
Right.
right? So if my blood was going to feed the fibroids, it couldn't feed my follicles. It was going somewhere else. So once I handled the issue with the fibroids, then my body had to rebalance itself to start the blood flowing in places and delivering itself to places that I also needed.
Right.
So that's just giving you an example. Your body has to learn how to rebalance based off the changes that you have made. So I would tell someone, do a regimen for 6 months.
Yeah.
To give yourself the opportunity to see results. You can't just do something for 2 days. We used to have this, we want this instant gratification. Okay.
Right.
I understand, believe me. Right? And so that's why some of these products sell very well, right? Because they say, okay, this is the miracle drop kind of thing, right?
Yep.
We want that. We put it on there. We don't see it within a certain period of time. We on to something else.
Right.
But it takes a while for your body to rebalance. Also, you have to think about, it took a while before you seen that you were losing your hair.
Right.
Statistics say that we lose about 30% of our hair before we actually see it, really recognize that with the naked eye. So you've already lost 30% before you even know that, hey, something's going on. So it takes sometimes years for you to get there to even see that, right? So it's going to take real time for your body to make the changes, and then so that the hair will show up.
Right.
In the way that you see it.
Right. Absolutely. And for those of us, I think specifically around like with CCCA.
Okay.
It is we all know, and people, I think sometimes people shy away from it. I'm done shying away from identifying the things, because I think about when Jesus healed, like he never shied away from the thing. Like, so call it what it is, you can get healed. So, but it's a chronic condition. And I heard someone say this, I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she also said like chronic conditions call for persistent praise. And I also think that the chronic condition, for me, the way I've begun to reframe it is that it's a reminder to me. When I start having an episode or something happens, there's usually, like you said, there's something off in the approaches. And so it's actually a reminder of and I wish I could be reminded another way, but it also specifically around stress. Like it's a reminder for me. How am I navigating in these spaces, and what am I trying to pick up and carry that I maybe don't need to carry, and all these different things. So these are, while they are hard sometimes, it also is a reminder of us that we can make the adjustments and things that we need. Right?
Absolutely. I can literally feel a tingle in my scalp when I'm stressing. And it's like, uh-oh.
Yes.
Get yourself together. Calm down, right? Calm down for yourself and calm down for your hair, honey.
Right. So exactly.
We need it here. Calm.
100%. Because it's almost like, because it's like, okay, let me.
But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that the body talks, right?
Yes.
That the body is talking. I mean, obviously, it don't feel good not, to see that you're losing your hair, but it's also a blessing that my body says that it will use my hair as a barometer to remind me or signal to me that something's going on. Because just because somebody have a healthy hair, the hair don't mean they're healthy inside, right? They're not blessed with their body being a signaler, right? It's something else. But for me and for others and for us, our hair is telling us, hey lady, something going on, you need to get that under control.
Yes, it is communicating. And let me tell you how much we needed to hear this, because I just did an interview with Tanya, cosmetic chemist Tanya Lane from Curly Chemistry 2 days ago. By the time this video goes up, hers will be up. She said the same thing. She said our body is communicating. We need to listen, right? So you all are saying the same. We're getting the same message.
Yes. And we need to share this. I thank you so much for doing this. Creating this platform, sharing your story, sharing to the world, because we need to know. We don't know that our bodies are telling us something.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
thinking it's a beauty thing. It's we compartmentalize our scalp from the rest of our bodies and our health, and we got to learn better so we can
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
better.
So thank you for all of this mini masterclass we have from our coach Dana. And so tell us a little bit about, you have some things coming up that people might be interested in. So let's transition and talk about the things you have coming up, the exciting ways that you're contributing to the community, and then also anything else you'd like to promote and share.
Yes. So I am excited, and thanks for the opportunity to share. I am excited. I'm having a summit. It's called Peace and Hair Growth Together. And I think I have a slide if you don't mind sharing. It's going to be Saturday, June 7th. 8:30 to 5:30 is going to be power packed. The idea, this summit is for the hair care professional, right? So I think I was shared earlier. My passion right now is with the hair care professional, arming her with information and real solutions for her clients. So we want her or him, whoever, to know what they're looking at, and then also have real solutions for their clients so that we can maybe prevent the hair loss and or support the people to have it sooner than later. Right? The more time that goes by that the client is losing the hair, the more time it's going to take for them to recover, right? Or it may be life or death. That's just the truth of the matter. We could be saving lives because something can be going on with that client internally that they need to address immediately. So we are saving lives through learning about hair loss. So at the summit, we're going to have hair scientists, we're going to have doctors, and we're going to have other trichologists there to share about how they incorporated the hair loss solutions into their business, because that is an issue. A hair care professional may not know how to incorporate it into the existing business that they have. This, when I say hair care professional, I'm not just talking about the licensed hair care professional. I'm talking about the loctician. I'm talking about the Sisterlock consultant, the braider, the natural hairstylist that may be doing it in their home.
Right.
I want to help that individual because they are the first line of defense to these women and to clients serving it on a daily basis. I want to arm them with the terminology and know what they're looking at and give them solutions to help their clients. This is a wellness issue.
Yes.
It's a wellness issue, right? And so that's what this summit is all about. I'm so excited. It is an in-person event. It's going to be located in Colonial Heights, Virginia, which is right outside of Richmond, Virginia. It's an all-day event. It includes food as well, because we're going to be learning. We're going to have demos and things like that. So I'm so excited. I so invite you to join. If you are a hair care professional, this is for you. If you're a client, tell your hair care professional about it. If you want her informed about how to serve you.
That's what I was going to say. So we have two homework assignments. So I'm also an instructor, right? But I'm saying we have two homework assignments. One of them is I want all of us to go through. I've already started my list of the things on that wheel that we can either start to incorporate, or if we become complacent with it, get back on track with it, right? So what are the things we can do? The second thing that we can do is everyone send this to your hairstylist. That link, I'll link it in the description box. This event to your hairstylist, to your loctician, to your braider, so that they can be informed and come to this event. And that's, to your point, you just said it, it's us helping even beyond ourselves. We should be in a position where we're giving and serving beyond our immediate experience. And this is one way for us, even though we might be suffering and dealing with it, where we can help others as well. So that's so exciting. That's so exciting.
I'm so excited to do this. This is my first summit this kind of summit. And so I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you. Excited to see. So you also on your website, we'll link the website as well. You mentioned that you do offer consulting.
Yes,
So can you tell us a little bit about how they might be able to follow you if you're on your socials, or maybe set up a consulting session?
So I absolutely, although the summit is about the hair care professional, I absolutely service direct to the client, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an issue or you think you have an issue, you can always sign up for a complimentary consult with me. I do it virtually. Right. We have a conversation virtually to see what's going on and see how I can support you. Thereafter, then you can book a comprehensive consult, but I do it virtually to give you a sense of what's going on and how I can support you. So go to my site, which is haircaresinc.com, and you can click on the link that will take you right to my booking, my calendars to schedule that. It's a 15-minute complimentary consult.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. And so, any parting words? Do you have anything you want to close us with?
Yes, absolutely. Listen, this holistic approach is anyone can do this. It doesn't cost you much at all. It just costs you a change of mindset, right?
Yes.
Being intentional about your health, your body, and then eventually your hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I advocate for this, but however, you can absolutely combine different approaches together. You could go to the dermatologist, you could do the holistic approach, you could redo the regenerative, and you can combine all three approaches together to obviously encourage hair growth. And every strand counts. That's part of my business. My tag is every strand really counts. And that's literally your hair, but it's every strand of what we do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Counts up, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
thank you so
beautiful.
much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And everyone, as we always sign off, live well, live blessed, nourish your crown, and we'll see you in the next video.